All right, this is Travis Alexander and
Nick Huey.
we are both member owners of Brewing, and this is a pilot episode of our brewery and beer review podcast, currently unnamed.
Brewer review, I don't know.
Yeah, that's solid. It's on the whiteboard now.
Oh, we'll stay out late to gastrobate and hang out with our friends. We'll share a few good microbrews, the good times never end. From seaside to the mountains, we'll travel many lands. Eat it up their pub cuisine and hear their local bands. We'll drink it from a bottle in a can or what's on tap. We'll rate each brew as we do with fairness and a map. Spirits are up, we'll fill our cup, the wind is in our sails. We'll drunkenly mix metaphors and travel hoppy trails.
All right, so first I am drinking a Jugo Nuevo hazy IPA from Discretion Brewing.
Yep, you got the same as well.
It's excellent beer.
It is. It's a hazy IPA. I wouldn't say it's like your typical hazy IPA that, has the abundant citrus flavors and everything, but it's very light on the citrus and it's actually quite enjoyable and crushable.
Yeah, definitely. I would absolutely describe it as juicy, but not in the way that you would normally think of with a hazy IPA.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely a good beer. You could definitely knock a couple down great on a summer day as today. In fact, what is the date today? It's a Saturday. July.
Is it the 17th or something, or 18th?
17th, could be the 18th, probably the 18th.
Confirm the 18th.
18th.
Can confirm.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about Epidemic Ales, where we went last Saturday. They've got a little patio beer garden there.
Yeah. As is kind of per the norm for some breweries, they've made the adaptation through all this COVID craziness. But it was a little bit of a drive for us. Travis is based down in Salinas and I'm based in San Jose, but they're located up in Concord. Thankfully, weekend traffic is pretty low, so
very low.
We got there within about an hour, and we're able to hang out there for a few hours and enjoy life.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a bad drive at all. It was, again, a beautiful day up in Concord. It's hotter there than Salinas.
Yeah, which was kind of odd because usually I don't handle heat well, but when we got there, it was probably about 85 degrees. In the few hours we were there, it escalated quickly up to 100 degrees. But honestly, I was comfortable throughout the entire time. They had tents set up and everything, so we could hang out in the shade. And then they have a food truck, that comes in on the weekends and, during the week when they're open. It's a different food truck that they have every day. This one in particular, I think they were Golden Gate Gyro company, something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But it was some great Mediterranean food. Yeah.
Let me tell you, those gyros were outstanding. They had the you could either get just the lamb, just chicken, or a combination of the two. And I got the combo. Let me tell you, I'm glad I did. That chicken was outstanding.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be that good. Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, again, no, it got up to 100 degrees. Didn't even really notice at all.
Maybe it was just we were drinking a lot of beer. But.
Could have been. Yeah, some nice cold beers. That does contribute. But yeah, Epidemic Ales. Nick, you're wearing the shirt right now.
Yeah.
I've got my shirt. I wore it this week, which is why I don't have it on. But yeah, great people. Really friendly atmosphere, and definitely some good beers. We did a couple of flights. They had what they have, 12 on tap or something.
Yeah, it was 12 beers on tap. And so they only have posted that, a flight of 8 different beers, but they are very accommodating. And they said no problem with a flight of 12 beers. We were able to experience everything that they were offering at the time, which I thought was really cool in itself.
Yeah.
I've been to some breweries in the past where, they say it's a flight of 6 beers or something. They have a large offering, but, they're more so only wanted to do 6, beers at a time for you. So I really like that Epidemic. They were very accommodating for us. So
yeah, absolutely. And then I feel like they had one that was not on the list. It was I don't know, maybe was it like a pineapple kettle sour? Or...
Yeah, it was actually a brand new one that they were releasing today, and didn't even have the sign created for it yet. They're one of those breweries that they'll make their own custom beer sign with the pastel chalk or whatever it is. Yeah, chalk paint. Yeah. And it was funny because after we went through our flight and I went back in, I had seen that there was another girl there, and she was sitting at the end of the bar using the chalk paint to create what I assume is probably the sign for the new one, which is called the Tartastrophe.
That's right. Yeah.
Pineapple sour, and they actually had already another existing one called Tartastrophe. I think pretty sure it's a line of very sour beers that they're coming out with, but their previous Tartastrophe that they also had on tap was a blueberry sour, which was also very delicious.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I definitely remember both of those. I remember that I could not keep the name Tartastrophe in my brain no matter how much I tried. So I was constantly, what was the name of that beer again? But the beer itself was memorable, let me tell you. It was good, as was the blueberry option. Yeah, both really great. Yeah, I was happy with those.
Definitely.
Was there any beer that stood out to you as just like one you would definitely make that drive just to get that beer?
So the two beers that I actually really liked, which my girlfriend Monica, she really liked one in particular. So that was the 4-pack of beers that we ended up coming home with, which was their Chemical Warfare.
Yeah.
I believe it's a double IPA or something along those lines. It was an excellent beer. I definitely would go back up there and buy another 4-pack. Thankfully, though, I've seen their beers starting to appear in stores down in San Jose. So
good.
I might always have to make the trek up to Concord to pick it up. But and then my favorite of the day was their I like to call APA, their Alien Pale Ale.
Yeah.
So that was also a very good one. And you might be wondering with some of these names, they're kind of a little off and very maybe potentially fear invoking.
Yeah.
But I mean, rightfully so with a brewery name such as Epidemic. I actually really like the whole theme and concept that they go after here, and how, granted they've been around for a few years, but how fitting right now that it seems like they're killing it as an operation during the global pandemic.
Yeah.
And so all of their beers are themed around, like zombie, and outbreaks and all that. So you have like, chemical warfare and more apocalyptic style theme going on. And the Alien Pale Ale, Tartastrophe Sour. Yeah. They had a few other ones that were zombie-esque and everything.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the theme that they've created there. It's a pretty cool environment.
Yeah, it was definitely fitting for for the trip that we were making. Yeah, I mean it should be clear now that in case anyone listens to this years down the road and wonders what the heck we're talking about, we were talking about going up there during the global pandemic of 2020, where the whole world shut down. Thankfully, except for many breweries who had outdoor seating.
I mean, let's be real here. If they shut down breweries during a global pandemic where you can buy beer, or some breweries couldn't even produce beer anymore, I feel like a lot of people would be going. Granted, people are going crazy already, but I feel like it would be significantly worse.
Oh, it'd be exponentially worse. Yeah, let me tell you, if we could not find a place to sit down and have a nice cold beer, especially one that's crafty and delicious like what we had, I would lose my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was definitely fitting. I recall as we were driving, I turned to Nick and said, "Nick, what's the name of this brewery we're going to?" And you said Epidemic Ales, and I just thought this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. Yeah. But as you said, great artwork. I would say that the labels, I was very impressed. I liked the designs that they had on all the cans. They had the little tasting cards, the cards with the tasting notes that went with each of the beers. Again,
that's rare.
Yeah.
Like, it's not often you go to a brewery where, like they'll usually, like if you get a flight, they'll write down or like the name or whatever, but like to have a card that goes with it with what the label you would see on the can or bottle, and then all of the tasting notes and everything. That's huge.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going the extra mile.
Oh, yeah. No, it was very cool because then it gives you that opportunity to learn a little bit more about the beer. And then if there's one that you love, you know, you take that card, you slip it in your pocket, and you know to come back to it later. And, yeah, just I thought that was
Not only with all the tasting notes and everything, because I didn't get a quick, you know, a long look at them, but were they indicating like the types of hops used in each one?
They didn't go into as much detail on the ingredients. I definitely would have liked that more.
Okay.
I think some of them did, some of them didn't. But yeah, definitely. I think. Well, you and Monica had talked about when you were at Ninkasi that they had a little bit more detail like that on their cards. Which, yeah, I think that's fantastic. We're gonna need to make a trip to Ninkasi at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Eugene.
Yeah, who doesn't, right? Yeah, if you don't like Eugene, hey, Eugene doesn't need you, so that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I would say I think the Tartastrophe, both the new one and the blueberry that they had were probably my favorites for the day. I'm real big on kettle sours. I got turned on to them recently, and yeah, they've just blown my mind, and I'll get them wherever I go. I know that I picked up 2 crowlers, one with blueberry and one with the brand new one. Fortunately, I didn't get the best seal on the blueberry, so we got back. I said, well, this one's not going to make the trip home for me, so
I'm just now, well, no, I'm just now realizing because I meant to bring that one down today so that we can enjoy it, and now I just realized, fuck, I just forgot it.
All right, well, it looks like I lost out on that one. Yeah, okay.
But I made up for it by bringing Travis like 3.5, 4 packs of some brews out of my collection.
All kinds of wonderful stuff, too.
I only did it because I needed to free up space in my fridge to buy more.
Yeah, it's a hard problem to have, but you know.
As much as I love beer, I feel like I buy beer faster than I can actually drink it. I never believed in the FOMO movement. For those of you not aware, FOMO, fear of missing out, when that term came to be a few years ago. And then all of a sudden, you know, breweries started producing more canned beers, and all of a sudden I fell in love with canned beers all over again. Yeah. And that's all I've really bought in the last probably 2 years.
Oh yeah.
And it's come to the point now where I'm just buying them because of FOMO.
Yeah.
And I feel absolutely horrible sometimes because I have some beers that were canned back in like February or March of this year, and I still haven't drank them yet.
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing to do.
They're sitting there neglected. Yeah, I'm going to call Alcohol Protective Services. They're going to come take those away from you for neglect.
Fuck
It's yeah, no, well, and it's a sign of the times, really, because
it is.
I mean, as we're looking at, you know, gone are the days of, hey, this is brewery and we have 4 to 6 beers and these are what we produce. It's not how we're doing it anymore. There's a lot of cans. There's a lot of new beers coming out all the time.
Definitely.
Breweries are just, I mean, turning out amazing recipes. And yeah, sometimes if you don't catch it while it's here, it may not come back around ever or for many years.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. When I see one that I haven't seen before, I like to pick it up and bring it home.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I thankfully we're blessed with a few breweries in this area or the entire Bay Area that are kind of on a consistent schedule, and they have their seasonal beers that repeat and come back and everything.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Alvarado Street Brewery being one of them. They kill it every time.
Amazing beers. New ones coming out. I mean, almost on a weekly basis, if not a weekly basis.
3 to 4 beers on a weekly basis.
Just
like incredible.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do an episode on Alvarado alone. We'll probably end up doing 10 to 15 episodes on Alvarado. Man. Yeah, with their multiple locations and their vast library, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll get to them a lot.
Definitely.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think, Epidemic Ales? How'd you feel about the staff? Feel of the place?
Amazing people, very nice. Honestly, I kind of regret not visiting them because I had all intentions of visiting them when I had heard about them a year prior, and I just never got around to it. But that's minor regret in not visiting them prior because while they still allow you to go inside the brewery to put in order your beer and everything, you can't stay and drink inside the brewery. It's obviously only outside under the pop-up tents that they've got and everything. But looking inside the brewery while I was waiting to order beer, they had plenty of space, which was kind of looked like a indoor bar area with kind of game area.
Mhm.
They had some dartboards set up.
Yeah.
Like it, that's it. You would think that that's pretty standard fare for a brewery, but it's not the case for every place.
No, many places.
And they had a very just fun and welcoming environment.
Absolutely.
And the ladies that were working there to that day, they're also amazing, very hospitable. It's rare that you kind of get that experience. Not to downplay, any experience at any brewery, but they were very welcoming, and I honestly, I wanted to go back the next day if I didn't have plans.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would say it's even being outside, and it's less of the interaction than you would have if you were, bellied up to the bar there, and you would be able to talk more with the staff. Even still, I think we had some great interactions. They came out, they chatted with us for I thought a pretty decent amount of time. It really made me wish I could go when it's not the pandemic, so I can sit at the bar, interact with them more. Just absolutely friendly, knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're passionate about beer.
Absolutely.
I believe we spoke with one of the co-owners, and yeah, just passionate about beer. Love that we're passionate about it. She wanted to share her knowledge and passion with us, which I thought was great. I'd love to go back and spend more time with them for sure.
Yeah, and for being a smaller brewery, they looked like they had quite the setup there. Like they were actually capable of producing a decent amount of beer and multiple beers at the same time.
Yeah.
And then from you talking to them, it sounds like that they're actually getting the equipment to have their own canning line and everything. So
yes, absolutely. So they've got a 10-barrel system. Really beautiful looking equipment. Definitely a brewery that they keep it clean, so that everything that's coming off of there is quality. But yeah, beautiful 10-barrel system that they're running there, and they have been canning and bottling with. It's not the Can Van; it's another group that does mobile packaging out of Sacramento, who they started with back when everybody was bottling. But then the switch to cans. They've been doing mobile, but they've got their own canning line, which has been ordered. They're waiting on delivery. I would imagine by the end of the summer, they're canning all their own stuff, which that's going to open up their brewing schedule because they won't be dependent on somebody else's schedule to get down there and can. But it's also going to cut their prices quite a bit because they're not going to have to pay that service fee and things like that. So. Who knows? That may end up as benefit for the consumer, which I always like. Save me a couple of cents a can, and that's fine by me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have an amazing setup there and everything. And it sounds from because I'd been following them for a while on Instagram, and they through all of this COVID craziness, they reopened and created an outdoor seating area, which is also very nice. They have food trucks come in. But I was a little concerned when we were going to visit because, through their posts and everything, I've seen their posts where the entire tent outdoor area is completely filled up, and they literally have a waiting list for people that want to come in and drink and eat and everything.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned. So that's why we left at like 11:30. They open up at noon on a Saturday. We got there at 12:30, and thankfully, there was only maybe like 2 or 3 groups of people. Yeah. So they still had plenty of seating and everything, but I'm sure that they, I'd seen again posts that were, their entire area was filled up with people.
Yeah.
Obviously, they cater to the whole 6-foot social distance thing and everything. They do a very good job of keeping people separated.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Offspring song.
Yes, excellent song. Throwback.
Yeah. But no, they're great people. They offer a nice little relaxing environment and everything.
Now they are about to turn out a new product. I believe that they're working on a flavored seltzer, something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
At the very end, we were talking about that's something that's coming out, going to be released soon. They have a watermelon, and then there was some talk about a pear that somebody tried, and it turned out to be they weren't all super fans of it. But I'll tell you what, I would probably like that. That sounds good. A little pear hard seltzer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm into that. But yeah, they apparently that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks here. I doubt that's going to be offered in cans, so you're probably going to have to go up there to get it.
Get it on top, yeah.
Which I'm fine.
I'm totally fine
with.
We can
make that trip.
Yeah, definitely.
Now there was so we talked about the Gyro truck that was there, but you had been telling me about a taco truck that you got me all excited about.
I know, which we'll have to plan, and hopefully they'll end up there on a Saturday or Sunday. And that's that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to make a trip up to Epidemic is, they have a few food trucks that they work with. They only have one food truck there at a time, and rightfully so, just kind of create a fair advantage for whatever food truck's showing up there. So the one that was there that day when we went was Golden Gate Euros. Amazing truck. They're actually a food trailer, which in my eyes is much smarter than actually running a truck itself. Trailer is half the cost of the truck. Anyways, I won't get into it. But the great food. But there's another truck that I've been wanting to go to up there, which is called OGTacos. You can actually find them on Instagram at OGTacos. And they do an excellent tacos de birria, which if you're not familiar with is barbacoa meat. It's braised and everything, so it's got a lot of juices to it. They dip the tortilla in the juices. They put the tortilla on the griddle. They put the meat on the tortilla with a little bit of cheese on it, fold it up, and the tortillas ends up looking kind of like an orangish red color. And when they serve the tacos to you, it's a cup of the actual meat juices for you to dip the taco in. And OGTacos, they do this. They're actually a very regular food truck at Epidemic Ales. And they partnered up very well.
I mean, they're there on at least once a week. They're there. Is that right?
Absolutely. And through all of this COVID craziness, when Epidemic Ales wasn't actually open, they were only open for can pickup to go. You could reach out to OGTacos, pre-order your food, because that was the only way to get their food was to pre-order over social media. And then when you go to pick up your cans from Epidemic Ales, OGTacos will have your food waiting and ready to go.
That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and if you don't know about birria, you need to educate yourself because first of all, I've had it at many places, and I have had probably what many people would say, oh, this isn't even that good. And even when it's not that good, it is delicious. Yeah. So I was very excited to try the OGTaco when we went up there. Unfortunately, they weren't there. But again, the Golden Gate Euro was delicious. We've got to make a trip up there. I'm telling you, I'm having trouble talking right now because of the way that you just described those tacos. I'm salivating here. I probably should have brought a napkin or a bib or something like that. But yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to try them out. Well, Nick, what do you think? Anything, any last words, something you just have to say about
All I have to say is just go check out Epidemic Ales. You will not be disappointed. They've got a great variety of brews, all the way from just your standard lager and blonde, all the way, through your IPAs, whether it's single, double, or triple IPA, sours, stouts. They have a great selection of beers, and just a super friendly environment.
And you just reminded me, and I'm going to throw this as my last thought. There's a lot of places that are doing they're trying to do a Mexican style lager right now, and I've seen it with mixed results. Most of the time, it's, yes, you did a good job on this, but it's one that I'll maybe have in the flight, but I'm not going to order. They had it was like maybe it wasn't a Mexican style lager, but it was in that feel, and then it had lime and salt and what have you. Do you remember what that one was called?
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't think of the name of it. I thought it was absolutely delicious. I told them that. It's something that I would not ordinarily pick if I were picking beers to put into the flight. But since we tasted one of everything they had, I'm really glad we did because that was an excellent beer, and I'm definitely glad I got to try it. So, if you're interested in the Mexican style lagers, or if you had some and you didn't really like them too much, or maybe you thought, they're okay.
So it wasn't quite a Mexican style lager. It did, I believe it did have, but the lager that they do have is Lager at World's End.
Yes.
Which,
yes,
another great fitting apocalyptic style beer.
Brilliant.
Would be amazing for them to see them be able to import that over to the UK, because having visited London a few times in the Camden area of London, there's a very old pub there called World's End Tavern. And it was actually in whatever British movie, World's End or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's very cool pub and tavern.
And they like their lagers over there, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I thought this was a good one. The lime and a little bit of salt in it, right?
Yeah, a little tiny bit of salt.
Very good. I thought it was excellent.
It's right up there with one of my favorite lime / Mexican style lagers from Full Circle Brewing, which is the Lime 30 lager.
Yes.
That'll be saved for another episode for us to discuss.
An amazing beer that we will talk about in depth.
But I'll just say right now, the Full Circle Brewing Lime 30 lager, go get it. Get some michelada mix, combine the two. It's an amazing michelada.
And here's what I'll say. Go pick one up. Don't taste it yet. Hold on to it, because we'll probably do a review of that coming up here very soon.
Absolutely.
And so you can drink one while we talk about it. It'll be that circle of life. And you'll be glad
or full circle of life.
That's right. The full circle of life, if you will. Yes. Well, awesome. Excellent. I definitely say I would recommend Epidemic Ales. Wonderful staff, amazing beers, creative, beautiful artwork. Food trucks, outstanding, all around. I mean, 5 stars. 5 stars.
Absolutely. I mean, beer, food, you can't go wrong.
What else do you want?
Yeah. I'm a fairly simple person, so food and beer, you got me.
That's it. No, I'm a simple man. Go to Epidemic during the pandemic, after the pandemic, whatever you got to do, but just get up there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, anybody who listened to this episode, thank you for doing so. I'm sure it's a little bit rough, and we'll get better as we do it more. But we'll have a title at some point in the future. Yeah. So, well, this is Travis Alexander,
and this is Nick Huey,
and we are member owners of Brewing, California's first and only cooperatively owned brewery. Definitely check out anytime you can. Share it with your friends. Another place with some great beer. And hopefully you'll listen to us next time.
Cheers.
The preceding podcast was produced by Sequoia Productions, LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. If you enjoyed this show and you're looking for more, or even if you're looking for something a little different, check out the other amazing shows by Sequoia Productions, wherever you get your podcasts, or on sequoia.com.
Hoppy trails to brew until we drink again. Hoppy trails to brew. Keep sharing with your friends. Who cares about which IPA tastes better? ABV are just a couple letters. Hoppy trails to brews until we